he was the first one to make it. And from our side of the family, he was the first one. Something's not right. Something doesn't add up.
I'm all right, and I know this ain't the end of me, because there's no way I'm sitting here forever. Trying to connect me to like some double homicide or something like that.
Oh, I know. Tell me about it.
It's never bye-bye. See you later.
In June 2013, the football world was stunned. Aaron Hernandez, a rising star tight end for the New England Patriots, was arrested and charged with the murder of Odin Lloyd, a semi-professional football player, and a man who was dating the sister of Hernandez's fiancée. What began as whispers of trouble in Hernandez's personal life quickly unraveled into one of the most shocking scandals in modern sports history. Aaron Hernandez had what many would call the perfect life on paper. Born in Bristol, Connecticut, he excelled in football from a young age, earning a scholarship to the University of Florida.
That was very, very tough for him at the age that it happened, and had a little bit of a tough upbringing, both because of that and even before that. Football was something that he really loved. I think it gave him a little bit of a reprieve from maybe some of the other everyday challenges of life. When he was around football, he could forget.
At just 20 years old, Hernandez was signed by the Patriots, playing alongside Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. On the field, he was nearly unstoppable. Off the field, he signed a $40 million contract extension, securing fame, money, and influence.
It's just a stunning fall from grace, all self-induced. But one of those stories that for every one of those rags to riches kind of stories, a kid makes good, this is the opposite. This is the complete opposite.
Behind that image of success was a man leading a dangerous double life. On the night of June 16, 2013, Odin Lloyd went out with Hernandez and two associates. Hours later, Lloyd's body was found in an industrial park less than a mile from Hernandez's home. He had been shot 6 times. Almost immediately, evidence began piling up. Surveillance footage showed Hernandez with Lloyd on the night of the killing.
Video surveillance was critical to establish the timeline of the homicide. When you see things on tape, they're not in dispute. I'm sitting here giving this interview, I can't say I wasn't there.
There was so much evidence gathered from video. You had the gas station where Aaron Hernandez and his friends stopped on their way to Boston to pick up Odin Lloyd.
We got a call from a gas station owner that believed he had footage of Aaron Hernandez just prior to the time we believe the homicide was.
It was a great video to have because it showed they were in the car that we matched up to the tire tracks that we now had from Enterprise Rent-A-Car. It showed Hernandez out of the car. It showed Carlos Ortiz out of the car. It showed them with a white towel, which was found at the crime scene. We saw Carlos Ortiz and Aaron Hernandez in the store buying gum, Bubblicious gum, which we later matched up to the shell at the Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Every time we saw something, it was just oh wow. So that was a huge get for us, that video.
Up in Boston, where Odin was, there was actually a homeowner up there whose car had been broken into a couple of times. So he had outdoor surveillance.
You saw this vehicle pulling up at Odin Lloyd's house, and they were able to determine through the license number and through cell towers that Aaron Hernandez was in the area where that car was seen picking up Odin Lloyd.
It was very impressive to see how his whereabouts was tracked via the cell phone towers. Around 3:15 in the morning, Odin Lloyd texted and said, "I am with NFL." It showed his whereabouts within minutes of the murder.
The body was found less than a half mile from Aaron Hernandez's home. The proximity was huge because after they were able to connect some of the dots, They determined that essentially right after the murder of Odin Lloyd, Aaron Hernandez, Wallace, and Ortiz, they all went back to Hernandez's home. When they returned, Odin Lloyd was no longer with them.
I think one of the most important things in this whole case was the professionalism of the first responders from North Attleboro PD. It was beautiful out, but there was a torrential rain that was coming in at the same time in North Attleboro, which is probably 15 miles from where I was.
We had news reports. There was a thunderstorm coming in, and more importantly, we could see the clouds rolling in and the trees starting to blow over, and it was getting worse and worse to the point where we knew we had to do something and cover this evidence that we had. I actually called the fire department, and they were very helpful. They came down with everything they had, and their tarps and their tents, and we covered everything we could, including the body.
Very quick decision-making. You know, it wasn't like you had, okay, we got an hour, we had minutes. It's everything in these cases. It's super important. Simple things like the tire track and the footprints, which ultimately put a car in a person at the scene, would be completely lost.
DNA that we ended up finding on the shell casings and on the, there was a blunt left behind. That would have been ruined, I think, too.
They did a fantastic job that ultimately made the prosecution that much easier in a case like this.
Mr. Hernandez and the other gentlemen were smoking on the corner of the street.
Okay. When you say they were smoking, what were they smoking?
I believe marijuana, because that's where the smell was coming from.
Shell casings from the scene matched a vehicle Hernandez had rented. Security cameras at his mansion showed him pacing nervously, holding what appeared to be a firearm. Within days, Hernandez was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. While awaiting trial, Hernandez's life behind bars became public in an unusual way through recorded jailhouse phone calls.
Trying to connect me to like some double homicide or something like that.
Oh, I know. Tell me about it.
We're basically at like zero right now until the Social Security comes in.
What do you mean, zero?
Zero, like dollars. He was just saying he was worried about if you brought AVL that the jury would.
I already talked to him about.
In one call to his mother, Hernandez complained about the prison lifestyle while also showing arrogance, as if he still believed his fame would shield him. In another, he spoke to his fiancée, Shayana Jenkins,
It's never bye-bye, see you later,
who would later testify in court and even face her own legal troubles for allegedly hiding evidence. These calls painted a picture of a man in denial, one moment frustrated at his circumstances, the next moment laughing and joking as if nothing had changed. Later, in an interview, Shayana recalled,
before the second trial, we mutually decided that, we wanted a different legal team. You can't be so set in your ways. You have to look for other people, why not? What's the harm in it? And he then, it had nothing to do with me. I wish I could have taken credit for the amazing team, but it was completely Aaron's doing. Jose did give a sense of confidence. He's such a down-to-earth guy, so chill, but so serious at the same time.
In court, the prosecution laid out a detailed timeline, supported by surveillance footage, text messages, and forensic evidence.
Well, one thing I know is missing. That's Hernandez's clothing. Is that in the black bag? There's a lot of speculation that the murder weapon may have been in the black bag.
The defense argued there was no direct eyewitness to the shooting, but the circumstantial case was overwhelming. In April 2015, Aaron Hernandez was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For many, it was unthinkable. A 25-year-old athlete with wealth, fame, and family, throwing it all away in a single act of violence. But the story didn't end there. While serving his life sentence, Hernandez was also tried for a separate 2012 double homicide in Boston, accused of killing two men after a nightclub altercation. In a dramatic courtroom battle, Hernandez was eventually acquitted of those charges in 2017. Yet, just days later, he was found dead in his prison cell, having taken his own life.
You get changed by the Patriot way, and now that I'm a Patriot, I have to start living like one and making the right decisions for them.
He was 27 years old. The shocking twist came after his death. Hernandez's brain was donated for medical study, and doctors revealed he had one of the most severe cases of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, ever seen in a young athlete. CTE, a degenerative brain disease caused by repeated head trauma, has been linked to memory loss, poor judgment, and violent behavior. This raised chilling questions. Was Hernandez a cold-blooded killer who squandered his chance at greatness? Or was he a victim of the brutal sport he excelled in, his mind deteriorating long before anyone noticed? The case of Aaron Hernandez remains a haunting reminder of how fame, fortune, and talent can be eclipsed by violence, secrecy, and inner demons. From NFL stadiums filled with cheers to a prison cell filled with silence, Hernandez's story is a tragedy with no true winners, and it leaves us asking how many more lives will be lost before we truly understand the cost of the game.